Well, hello there, friends. Welcome on in. We are going to be having some fun today. I'm using a new medium. It's called Cold Wax. And it's supposed to help with making your paint thicker without having to worry about having a lot of oil paint you're wasting. So yeah, we're gonna try some of that out today. And yeah, go from there. Currently just basically we're going to be working on this horse that I started a while ago, like a long time ago. Pretty much did this in 2 settings. And I signed it already because I was trying out I was practicing my signature, so I signed it before it's done. But yeah, so we're gonna move on with this, and pretty much I just need to kind of add some darks in, and then we'll finish off with highlights. So my palette here, I have some leftover paints from the last couple of days, so they're looking kind of gnarly right now. But, my main colors, and I'm going to put some more white out. I think that white is still okay, so we're going to add just a little bit of warm white. And some titanium white for the cooler white, because this pretty much kind of cools everything. And this is a fast dry white too, so it does dry pretty fast compared to regular titanium. Yeah, this is from the Milan Art Institute. Here's the reference I'm working from. Obviously, it looks a lot brighter there and a little different. Apologies for the mess. This is my studio. Sorry, I'm trying to get this a very cheap little tripod here. That's good. Let's zoom in just a little bit. Okay, there we go. I like that. Okay. So we're gonna go. I'm not sure if I want to do music or not. I didn't really like how it sounded on the recording. I don't think I still have. Yeah, I'm not going to bother with it. So, you'll just get to hear the sound of my voice. Let's see. Probably going to use a lot of the same brushes I used yesterday. Which yesterday we did a fun little still life from life. in about 2.5 hours on stream. That was fun. Yeah, I'm gonna start with a bigger one though. Okay, so I'm gonna use this size 10 filbert to kind of glaze in some of these darks that got lost. So yeah, like these shadows, I'm gonna kind of glaze those in a little bit more. The face is pretty good, but there's some shadows up here, and of course in the mane. And I'm gonna try to define these ears a little bit more, because they're kind of lost. Kind of lost in Winterland here. And then just kind of glaze over this, and then I'm gonna add the highlights and really add some kind of fun textures with the cold wax, hopefully. Should be fun. And as always, I am starting with cool colors, as in temperature cool, not hip cool. And what's great too is now I actually have transparent earthy yellow. I didn't have that before. I'm gonna grab some of that from our palette here. Kind of looks like poo. But this is a really nice color, very earthy color. I'm really glad I finally picked it up because, wow, it's kind of a game changer. Like, no joke. But yeah, so I'm mixing it with some Galkid here I poured, which you see kind of gives it that nice, smoother consistency. And Galkid is very shiny, so it's perfect for glazing. And when you glaze, you always start with, when you're working with transparents, just like watercolor, you always start with the lightest color first, and then go dark from there. So I'm gonna kind of see how you can still see underneath it. That's what we want. So, and I'm going over a dry canvas right now. This thing has been, hopefully there's no dust on it. But this thing has been sitting for a while. And this is a cool yellow, so it will kind of recede backwards, which is why I'm being a little willy-nilly with it, because I'm going to go over it with warms. And then we're going to add in a little crimson. Again, I'm avoiding that medium, that wax medium right now. Let's see how it's a little bit more red down here. There too. Yeah. Anywho, I hope everyone's having a wonderful day. I know I'm a bit sore today myself. The stream last night definitely I kind of overdid it a bit, but that's okay. That is A-okay. I'll be taking a break tomorrow. Alright, so now that I've got those, I'm going to go and start adding some purple. This is Diox something purple. Mix a little bit with the red. So I'm basically kind of using this purple in lieu of black because there's a lot of purple going on here with this horse. And I'm trying to push back some of these shadows. And again, keeping my brush strokes loose. And I'm barely touching the canvas here. That's okay if it mixes a little bit with the lighter glazes. That's why we go light to dark. And I'm going to kind of be going back over some of this, so I'm covering up some of my highlights on purpose. I might add a little blue in there too. Because one thing that's important is you kind of want to make sure you're adding some, what's the word I'm looking for? Not versatility, but just making it a little bit more dynamic. Let's try to, probably should have done this before I went over it. You can kind of see there's some darks. And I'll probably add some warms to these shadows since they are kind of popping forward. So you can have warm shadows, definitely. So, but I really want to get that texture, but also make sure it still, you know, looks like a painting. And if anyone has any questions, I know there's probably not many people on right now, being that it's a weekday morning, but I am happy to answer what I can. Trying to kind of darken this up here. Because we're going to go over this with some white. Some more of that luscious purple. Very luscious indeed. And we'll probably finish this off with the edges. Whew, it's getting warm out here, man. It's gonna be 101 tomorrow out here in Arizona. And no, I'm not looking forward to that. Not at all. But thankfully, we have air conditioning. Yeah, so I kind of want that hair to... Here's the other ear. Some of that blue right there. There we go. I really want those dark roots to show. And again, I'm not caring too much about the colors, mostly the values of what I'm after here. Let's see. Oh, hey, Chris. Oh, thank you for the lurk, sir. I'm going to remember to join your stream later. Appreciate you. I hope you're having a good day. I know I am. I definitely woke up feeling like poo this morning, but I was able to kind of push through it. You know, I'm kind of trying to really focus on my mental health. I've been doing therapy. Finally found a good therapist. Just took a few years. And I started new antidepressants, which made me like super sick. But that was the catalyst I needed to stop smoking marijuana, which I was using for pain management, but it wasn't really helping with my pain. Not really. So, but I was kind of in this cycle where I couldn't really stop because I have a very addictive personality. And marijuana is addictive to folks that have that personality. So now for the first time in like years, I'm completely sober. I'm not drinking either, because that just makes me feel like absolute garbage. So not really worth. So I'm excited to finally have breaking free from that. Because I tell you what, the last thing I want is to feel like I did last week again. I was so sick. I actually had to go to the darn hospital. Thankfully, it was actually a pretty decent experience. I live in a fairly rural area, so there wasn't anyone in the waiting room. We showed up, I had to wake my boyfriend up at like 4 in the morning. And have him call out of work so he could take me. Because I definitely couldn't drive myself. I was in some poor, rough shape. And basically it was just like non-stop nausea and throwing up. Like it wasn't stopping. My stomach was just cramping, and not something I would wish on anybody. Not even my worst enemy. Not that I really have an enemy, but you know what I mean. So after being at the ER for like 3 hours, they did like a CT. That was fine. They couldn't find anything like an infection or anything, which I didn't think it was. I knew it was the side effects, because guess what? Marijuana amplifies anything you take. Whether that be medication, alcohol, whatever. So basically what had happened is, as I was detoxing from the Wellbutrin, it just amplified the detox, as well as the the nausea and everything. And I got discharged from the hospital, and I was still feeling like, they gave me multiple kinds of drugs, IV drugs to help. Nothing was really working well. It helped. I wasn't like writhing in pain anymore, but it was Bad. Hey, Savvies. Oh, awesome. Well, thanks for stopping by. And again, thanks for the raid last night. That was super awesome. Appreciate you. Good luck with your meeting. Hopefully it's not too boring. Thank you. Anywho. So yeah, needless to say, it was a rough day on last Thursday. This was just last Thursday. It hasn't even been a week yet. Since that happened. But thankfully, at like around 11 a.m. that day, so got home at like 7:30 and spent about 4 hours just being miserable and exhausted because they gave me sedatives too, but I couldn't sleep because my stomach was like bleh. But after that finally went away, you know, it worked. It was nice. It just stopped. And it hasn't come back, and I'm just very glad. I slept like the rest of the day away till like 4 p.m. And yeah, it was a trip. Okay. Well, I'm pretty happy with that glazing. So now we're gonna start doing. I'm gonna kind of render in those ears a little better, and move to some warm colors. And again, I'm using my handy dandy. Can you guys see this? I got solvent in my little can here. There. That way you can kind of see both. And the cats are actually behaving today and not wanting to be in the room, so we're gonna just see how long that lasts. But yeah, anyway, so I stopped smoking marijuana last Thursday because that morning I tried it to help with the nausea, and it backfired greatly. So yeah, they were pretty much like, "Hey, you should stop," because my nausea could have also been caused from the marijuana, because that can using it too much can make you sick. So. Anyway, it took a couple of days to kind of get over the, withdrawals of getting off of it, but I feel like a whole new person. I feel like myself again. I didn't realize how much it was like dragging me down. So, take care of yourself for sure. And if you're struggling with addiction of any kind, don't be afraid to ask for help. Seriously, I unfortunately have cousins that and family that have struggled with addiction their whole lives, and it's heartbreaking. But sometimes you need a tough break to get over it, My cousin, this is actually how we got her two newest kitties. She unfortunately, she struggles with fentanyl addiction, which is the worst. Her and her brother. And she violated her probation, so she had to go to jail for like 2 months. Which of course, that sucks, but it was sort of what she needed to finally, see the light, I guess. Because now she's been sober, she's in a treatment center, and she seems to be doing pretty good. She looks so much better, and I'm so proud of her. She's only like 3 years younger than me, so we grew up like sisters, and it definitely breaks my heart knowing that, you know, that she's been struggling. And there's not much I can, you know, can do on my end other than just be there for her. And yeah, so hopefully she stays clean, and I hope her brother follows suit, because yeah, he's really good. And our grandmother unfortunately enables his addiction. So, you know, it's gonna be rough when she passes. Okay, so I don't actually want to go in with this white yet. I'm gonna actually use this other new brush I got. I went to Blick yesterday. There's one in Tempe, and I actually made the drive. So it was literally an hour, which isn't that bad considering it's like 30-something miles away. But it was such a nice drive. It wasn't too hot out yet, so that certainly helped. So I'm mixing. Oh, you know what? Wrong purple. I want a warmer. So I'm mixing black with some warmer colors to kind of try to create some warmer shadows. Which is why I'm doing it down here. Just hopefully ignore that other one. Oh no, did I get some white in this purple? Okay, then we're good. To keep a glaze, you really cannot add any white, because that is an opaque color and will take that glaze right away. So I'm going to just kind of sketch in the shape of this ear. And I might actually take this brush and do the cool color behind it. So actually that wasn't a waste, because there's a little, see how this is dark here? So I want, the downside is that it can be kind of hard to lay the darks down on top of wet paint. So I'm kind of just pressing it so it sticks, because if I rub it, it'll just come off. Okay, good. And I'm trying to see how dark it is in here. And I want that hair to look like it's going behind the ear. Like so. And again though, I'm not worrying too much about it being highly accurate. As long as it reads well on its own, then you're good. As long as you're not doing like a custom portrait or something. Which of course is what I mainly do. But I'm trying to, not that I don't love doing portraits, because I do, but I am trying to step out and kind of find my own voice, you know? Not just copying a photo, which I'm not discrediting that. There's a lot of skill that goes into copying a photo. It is a lot harder than one would think. But you know, I want people to go like, oh, when they see one of my artworks, I want them to go, oh, that's a Roskog, which is how you pronounce my last name, by the way, for anyone who's wondering. I understand it seems to look harder than it actually is. And yeah. So again, I'm kind of erasing some work I've done only to add the dark values that I desperately need here to give that dimension. You kind of see how much just that little bit right there I did help. Because there's hair going over here, and each hair is causing shadow. On the paint. And I'm a bit of a messy painter. I'm just embracing it. Because that's kind of what I want to do, is really figure out what process I love the most. And I'm really excited because this is part of the Milan Art Institute program. I'm not sure if anyone's seen their ads. They're definitely very good at marketing. I've been seeing their ads for years and finally took the plunge last year. Even though I really can't afford it, it was kind of like, I need to do something, you know? And I've always tried to like teach myself. And after a while of trying that, it gets a little hard because you don't really know if you're doing it right or wrong. Not that there is a right or wrong with art, right? There's, you know, many people have made their own. I see so many artists do art in way differently than they teach in the program, right? There's many folks that like to do one thing at a time, like fully complete, one step at a time. For me, I can't do that. Even though I love seeing it, it's just like I need to see the whole picture as I'm working. And that requires lots of ugly stages of painting, which is hard to get over. Very hard to get over at first, but kind of like once you let it be, it's not so bad, you know? And I found, and because of this, it really gave me a lot more confidence to try things. Especially when I was younger, I was really hesitant to try doing anything other than like draw. And at the time, I really had low patience, so I definitely did not take the time I do now on my work. So everything always looked a little unfinished. But I was always, you know, I grew up with the artist moniker, right? Like I was an only child and not very into sports. Go figure. But so I did a lot of reading and listening to music and drawing. My mom worked a lot, so I was home alone a lot. And it kind of was my coping mechanism, I'd say, big time. Because I struggled. I've struggled with mental health all my life. So, but the key thing is not to let that define you. So I try just make the best of it, you know? That might be a little dark. Yeah. Luckily, oil paint is so forgiving. Once I discovered how to use it properly, like glazing, I didn't even understand glazing properly in the context of oil painting. I had done it with pastels, and pastels are kind of easy because, well, they're not easy, but they're easy. They were easy for me as a stepping stone, and I still love them. And they're not like a stepping stone; they're very amazing medium in their own right. And I may still incorporate them in my paintings because I know you can use them on canvas too, as long as you grind, spray it so it stays on there. But one thing I figured out was, I think with pastels, what made me kind of drift away from them and start exploring wet mediums is just the versatility that wet paint gives you. You can make any color you want without having to buy every color, right? I mean, pastels you can mix on top of each other to make, whatever color you need, but I just find it easier. Well, not easier, but I really wanted to. I think what I love about oil painting is how much more dimension you can get with them, because pastels are all opaque, pretty much, So, I love the matte finish that pastels give. Like, it's a really, you don't have to worry about the glare like you do with oil painting. But having to frame it, and, not my favorite thing. Not my favorite. So, but yeah, the Milan Art Institute program has actually been pretty good as far as teaching real techniques and fundamentals behind painting and drawing. The drawing is a little bit, I think, in my opinion, a lot more rushed. I have a pretty solid foundation in drawing. Of course, it's self-taught, so I've had to unlearn some bad habits and learn good habits. I think the biggest thing from that, and this goes for both painting and drawing, is getting one of these. It's like a scale tool where you can take a smaller picture and blow it up onto a bigger canvas, paper, whatever. Got a bigger wooden one too. But holy heck, this is a game changer for me, because it still lets you freehand, but you get to measure your proportions a lot more accurately than just by eye. Or I've always used like whatever instrument, like my pencil, done that kind of thing, which it still works, right? If you pinch. But this is nice because I can actually gauge how how big a head is, and it stays put. And this was like $10 on Amazon. It was just a little plastic thing, but I love it. And also, starting from the center and working out has been another game changer. I was kind of based off the edges before, but my proportions would be off sometimes. But these are things you definitely pick up as you go, right? I think I might be more delicate. I didn't pour a lot because I wasted a lot last night, and I didn't want to do that today. So I've got a giant bottle. Um, Trick is with these, store it upside down. That will keep the Galkid from drying out or getting all sticky. Also, once I can open it, another trick, just poking a hole in there keeps it nice and clean, so I don't have a really sticky top, because Galkid gets real sticky. I use these little, I bought a bunch of these little condiment containers. You know, it's not very sustainable, but it's nice, especially for when you have a lot of leftover paint and you don't want it to dry out. You can just stick it in one of these with the lid and it'll stay for a little bit. It's not exactly the best. I've definitely had paint dry out in those still, but you know, whatever works. Whatever works. Oh. Someone. It didn't show up on here, but it showed up on the Twitch. Make sure YouTube doesn't have anything weird going. Okay, good. Okay, we're gonna take a quick little stretch break. Oh, yeah. I'm gonna go refill my coffee, stretch my legs. I shall be right back. And we are back. All right. Let's get back to it. Okay. So I am attempting to paint this ear. Add some black to get a little bit more of a grayer color, so it's a little less bright blue there. There you go. And I'm just trying to gradually add a little bit more white as we get to the edge of this ear. And if it's not flowing, add Galkid, pretty much. That's the answer to everything. And if you kind of mess up like I did, you can always take a little scraper and just clean up that edge. Oof, my arms are sore. Sorry about that. All right. So I'm just trying to kind of blend these together a little bit. Not super happy with how it's looking, but it's okay. I'm gonna add some of that. Basically, I just keep adding this warm white until I get the right color. Got a little scraggly piece there. Okay. I've got a clean brush that I'm going to use. Clean that edge up a bit. And put that vein back in. Blend in those colors. Bring it down a bit. just kind of trying to lightly, not erase all that glazing I did, you know. Okay, so this color I want, I'm gonna need to use a different brush. Alright. So that is pretty close to the dark. Throw some of that warmer purple and blue in with the black. And a touch of white. I'm trying not to get little paint skins in this. Gives us a nice like lavender color. It's quite pretty. Quite pretty. Can you guys see it? Yeah, yeah. Okay. So I'm just trying to put that in to give that illusion. And then we're gonna go ahead and just block in this other ear a little bit more. Make that a bit more neutral. Purple mixed with that. So I'm purposely mixing warm and cool together to get a neutral color for this ear, because it's behind, you know, it's back in space, but it's not as far back as the background. So we have to figure out a nice little happy medium, and neutral is usually the way to go. But if you ever get like that can work there a little bit. But if you ever start getting like muddy colors and you're trying to do oil painting, it might be because you're mixing the warm and cool together, and that doesn't always work out well. So here I switched to my warmer brush to get some of these, because again, the face is closer than that ear, so it definitely has a bit more of a purpley tint, so we shall do that. I'm kind of trying to carefully add in these little highlights to show the horse's mouth. And I'm going in with some darks, that same brush. Trying to add that dimension. Hmm. I need to wash my brushes. Not sure if I'm liking that. Yeah, this brush has gotten pretty beat up to hell. It's got a little. It's all frayed. Doot. All right. Just making sure we don't have any bots. Oh no. Okay. Alright, we're good. My shoulders and arms are definitely feeling the workout. And painting is a workout, believe it or not. Especially when you have to sit in this little stool. That hurts my bum. But it's better for my posture. So we use it. I also stand sometimes, but it's obviously, I have to change a bunch of things around to do standing at the moment. So we just sitting, chillaxing, relaxing, all cool. Though I'm not cool. I think that's pretty obvious. I've always embraced my nerdiness. Yeah, in high school I didn't go to parties. I hung out and read books. And me and my best friend would write songs for our band that we never ever actually did anything with. Oh, good times. Okay, I need some. I think I want to glaze a little bit of red. So I need to reach into my very messy drawer here. Apologize for all the movement. Actually, that oxide might be exactly what I need. Okay, we'll use this, which is a warm transparent. Rembrandt. That was the other thing that with this program, they show you kind of which colors are what, so you can write them. I just write them on my tube, so I know exactly. This is a cool transparent. I also have cool opaques, which, by the way, these radiant lines are not really worth the money. FYI, save you some money there, don't buy them. Just mix white with your colors you already have, that's all you need to do. I never use them. I used them for one assignment. Which I think is hidden behind me. But, yeah. Not worth the money for a whole set of those. They're expensive. If y'all watch I'm Painting Badly. He's actually started making his own oil paints that I'll probably buy from when I need some new ones. He's taught me a lot about them. One thing being that specifically those radiant colors, and a lot of those pre-mixed colors are kind of a waste of money. But I do like having a good variety of colors. You know, it definitely comes in handy, but not necessary. Not fully necessary at all. So yeah, I'm going in and glazing again, but this time I'm glazing a warm color, and I'm gonna probably go over it with some white. More Galkin. Fully in. A little bit here too. This is so pretty. I really love this reference. This is from Pinterest. It is not my original photo by any means. It was one of the assignments in the program. They give they just take Pinterest photos, so you can't really, claim it as your own. But, and that's just for the first part. So there's 4 parts in the Milan Art Institute program. Eventually I plan on doing a video. I've talked about it, I just haven't been about it yet. Mostly because I took a pretty long break from the program. I started in October, went gung-ho for the first couple weeks, and then suddenly I got overwhelmed. I had so much things going on at the same time that I was letting my commissions were falling way behind, and they are still way behind. There's a reason I haven't been taking any new commissions. I want to get done with this program before I take any new commissions, because ideally I want any new commissions to be in what style and the voice that I decide on, so that I can have a bit more of a consistent brand, and people know what they're going to get from me. Without the pressure of having to full-blown mimic a photo exactly, right? I'm really wanting to step away from that. I really love mixed media, and I'm really excited to get to explore that more. I actually got a bunch of new materials, because in the second part of the program, the first part they go over just how to teach you how to paint and draw what you see, because that's really key to do fine art. If you ever want to be in a gallery or anything like that, you need to know how to paint what you see, or draw what you see, or both. A lot of those skills are transferable. Once you figure that out, everything else becomes a little easier. Once you understand how form works, how space interacts with each other. Oh, Alistair wants in. Hey, bud. Come on in, little man. There's the Alistair. He is awoken from his nap and is probably starting to get hungry. So I'll probably have to, when we're done here, I'll be feeding him. And kind of what I'm doing right now is just going back. I just noticed some spots that weren't as dark as I wanted them to be. So that's what we'd be doing. I know what actually prompted me to do that was right here. This little, use some of that red oxide. Make a nice rich brown. Get these little muscles, this little shadow a little bit more well defined here. And I kind of want it to be a bit more blue now. And I'm definitely loving how the horse is kind of like looking like they're, you know, coming out of the darkness. I've always been a bit of a stick of, I love darker backgrounds, which, what are you doing? Oh, just getting into something. What are you doing, little man? What are you doing? Huh? What are you doing? He's my little sweetheart. He sleeps with, no. He's got a bit of a tape addiction too. So we have to keep a close eye on him. But yeah, I do really like the drama of a contrasting background against, you know, a light foreground like this. Big reason I think I chose this source. But what's cool in the second part, we'll learn how to create our own sources. And learn kind of what symbols we have and all that fun stuff. So it should be fun. I've just got a lot to get through till I'm there. So. Hey, you two. Dante's joined the fray. Hey, bud. This cat freaking bit my nose this morning. He was waking up. He was not happy that I woke up as late as I did. And to express his displeasure, he promptly bit my nose. Dante, that is not something you can rub on. No. He's rubbing on a cord right now. Okay. So this gal could dry so fast that it's already kind of started to dry on the palette there a little bit. So I'm going to again go back in. Clean that up a little bit. And I use my finger a lot. I don't want to completely blend away my brush strokes, but now I am trying to get this color right. Thinking I might want to, because there is, let's just go with this first. What are you doing? Get a little conspicuous when I start to hear sounds like a cat's getting into something. I've got a song in my head that I love, but I just can't get the damn song out of my head. And I wish I could play some music, but I don't want to upset the YouTube copyright jazz, you know. So we're in silence, and I'm just gonna keep yammering away in your ear. And so now I'm just trying to blend this in to the shadow a little bit and try not to overblend again. But I definitely want this to pop a little more here. I'm liking that. Alright, so the back here is going away. Remember, I put that transparent yellow in. I may need to add some more because I think that's kind of dry. So I'm adding there we go. That's good. So this will help it kind of go back in space, even though it's lighter in value than than this part here. Make sure I don't get any of those little paint boogers in there. That's the official term as well. Let's see, let's get that off. That is like the first thing galleries look for. They take your painting, flip it to the side, and see if anything's raised off that shouldn't be. So especially if you're using like acrylic paint, which dries so fast, you get those skins. You have to be careful not to get that in your painting. Just checking, making sure we're still alive and good and going good. Okay. And again, I'm kind of keeping with this. I'm going to add a little bit more red. My red's kind of... My cool red is a little icky right now. Actually, too dark. Let's lighten this up, shall we? Go. Okay. Alright. I can dig it. I can dig it. Can you dig it? Darken it up a little bit. It's purple. And we're still in the cools here. So we're trying to get a bit more of a grayish color. And I'm just kind of scumbling a little bit. I'm really... kind of gives that softness. But we're going to add a little bit more of this white. And yellow. There we go. I know, Dante. Dante is letting everyone know how he feels. We know, we know. He's very demanding right now. Hey, what are you doing? Okay. Bless you. He's just staring at me right now. It's pretty funny. And so I'm kind of lightly going, I had just glazed over there, so it's kind of, I'm not having to change the color to get this coming through. Dante. Dante. No. Okay. And this piece too, the thing with the Milan program, they try to teach everything in a year, which in my humble opinion might not be super doable. for someone like me that is disabled and is a bit slower than your average person. Slower moving, not so much. Yeah, I don't know what I'm saying, but I really started strong, but like my ADHD kind of always works against me. And this was one of those moments, where I got a little overwhelmed from having too much going on at once. But each of these assignments are fairly are pretty short. Like they try to force you to work faster and looser, and they teach a lot more impressionism techniques. Which I am not very knowledgeable of. So I'm excited to learn that. But the whole thing is like with these pieces, we're trying to do them in limited time. Like they want you to go through, do like one painting a week, one assignment a week, and but like each week has multiple assignments as far as like drawing and stuff. And then each painting has like multiple stages. You kind of have to let it dry in between the glazing and whatnot. So I started this a long time ago with that in mind, doing the program. And had a lot of fun with it, for sure. So it's nice to get back. This is basically the method. This is using kind of fat over lean principles, where you start out real lean, using solvent, thinned out paint. Very washy, messy underpainting, and then finishing up with a very, more detailed, like adding medium instead of, mediums on top of thinner paints below. Okay, stepping back. See what we need to add here. gray in here. I don't want to like completely erase what I've done underneath, but I also find myself doing it anyway. I'm kind of laying down some of this color elsewhere that I think makes sense. Try not to go too crazy though, because you don't want the same color everywhere. That gets a little boring. So we're just gonna add a little more purple here. Because I see a lot of purple in this horse's face. And I'm kind of just trying to blend in this neck a little bit more. But again, I'm not worrying too much. And just trying to make sure I'm having fun first and foremost, right? Let's do another stretch. There he is. Actually, can't really see him very well from that angle. That's okay. I totally have a song going in my head. The song by Daddy Frere. Daddy Frere, however you pronounce his name. I love him. Hi, baby. Make sure I don't have any paint on my hands. Say hello. He's not used to getting this vantage point. You ready to go down? Okay. Okay. Thankfully, none of the cats have jumped up on a pallet yet today, so it's going because the last couple times they stepped. Last week, when I was first setting everything up in here, and I just did like a recording to test things out. Dante jumped up on it. I didn't see him, but I saw these paw prints in the studio leading out to the hallway, and that's how I figured out he stepped in the umbers. Had a bunch of brown on his feet. Thankfully, it's non-toxic pigment, so he's okay. He didn't step in any of the cadmium colors, because I do have 2 cadmium yellows out. But I think that's the only toxic pigment I have right now. Alright. Let's finish cleaning our brushes. I think what I'm going to do is switch to a different brush. And see how that's going. Okay. Everything's still good. Yeah, still going strong. Still going strong on there. Good. And, you know, for anyone who is interested in this, like after I'm done, let me know. I'll happily sell it. It's a 12 by 16 gallery wrapped canvas. Oh God. Just my knee. I already ruined that brush. Okay, so we're gonna go back to our warm white. I'm gonna kind of make a little mix over here. I'm gonna first see if is that gonna like blend in. Oh no, yeah, that is dried. So I'm kind of erasing what I just did there. So I need to put, yeah, I think we'll put some red oxide in first. Should maybe a mix of red cadmium too. The transparent red oxide is quite strong, so you really don't need a lot of it. What are you doing? Oh. Alistair! Stop it. What are you eating? I don't trust him. He has this obsession with tape, and he'll literally eat it and risk killing himself for the taste of tape. Yeah, he's a weird cat. Okay, so I'm just trying to... not what I wanted. Yeah, I'm not liking that. some orange. A little too pink. Hmm. Hey, what are you messing with now? Where are you? I hear something, but I don't see. That really makes me nervous. So I'm just like really lightly flicking paintbrush. Trying to. And I'm gonna go over this top part with more white because the hair is a lot more white at the top. But I really want to get that sharp hair-like appearance here coming out over the neck. Just like so. And then we'll take some warm white pretty much and kind of go over these parts. And as you see, I'm kind of going a little thicker in some spots. And when I start to feel like I'm running out of paint, I just go back and fill it back up. And there we go. I'm trying to follow the picture as best I can. That's so pretty. Okay, so now I'm gonna, let's see. Sure, we do a little bit more here. There. Flowing hair. And here's kind of some big old chunks that I'm trying to mimic. Again, using this color. I've kind of loaded my brush up a lot, so we're gonna wash that real quick. And Alistair's coming back around to say hello. Finish washing this brush. Go back into this little spot, bud. Move the brush off and put it away. Okay, so now I'm going to take my script liner here and just kind of load it up. So I'm kind of twirling it in this warm white. I think I'm going to mix a little bit of yellow ochre with it. A little more Galkid. We want this to smoothly flow. So we're going to basically we're just kind of adding in these I feel like I skipped a step. Let me take our angle brush first. Yeah, there we go. So what we're trying to do is, why are you not staying flowing? I'm just trying to add in these highlights. With varying levels of success here. And that's okay, it doesn't have to be perfect. Perfect doesn't exist, people. So I'm trying to add some variation here. And I'm getting frustrated because of this, so we're gonna lift this up a little bit. Lifting it up, adding more flow. So the horse's mane looks like horse's mane. Really? side as we go in. I'm just trying to create an illusion of hair. When did that go down? There we go. Soften out some things that are bugging me while they're still wet. Okay. Almost done, folks. We're almost done. As you see here, I'm trying to add that illusion. Oh, this paint is dry already. I thought I'd have that problem with oil paints. Tell you what. Mediums definitely help. Because yeah, if you're just using straight oil paint, and if you're mixing it with oil as the medium, it takes forever to dry. And it still can take a while to dry. Even if, you're not, or you are using a medium. So, I learned some tips about getting your paints to dry a little faster. Using space heater or something a little less dangerous and more off, like where you don't have to watch it. You can, in the summertime anyway, it gets so hot here, I can stick my paintings in the trunk, in the back of my car, in the garage, like closed, so that no dust and stuff gets on it, and that helps it dry a little faster than just in the climate controlled house, because we pretty much keep our air conditioning pretty low. And so that can help. Going in and doing some complementary, throwing some blues in here with this so it's not all samey, especially up here. Got some big clumps of fur or hair. that cold wax yet. But I'm saving that for last. Here, yeah. There we go. That look a little bit more round. Some texture. Let's get up in here a little more. Ooh. Mm. And here I'm just, again, trying to blend that in a little bit better. So it looks like it's coming from the roots. Yeah. All right. We're almost done. Actually, this time. So now I'm going in with a really small brush. Again, trying to get this to be a lot more liquidy so we don't see too much brush strokes. Like we want to see the brush strokes, but we want it to flow too. And this is just a script brush. I'm just trying to add these little wispies. So that it looks more like hair, you know? really annoying because it doesn't hold a lot of paint. And I feel like I get about 2 brush strokes in before I have to reload it up. And then I actually get a big old brush mark like that, but we're just gonna leave it because, you know, let's see. That's fine. So now I'm out of paint again. Go back over. Load it back up. Not bugging me. Let's move this hair. Boop. 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 Oh my god, it's mandatory you have to boop too. I mean, that's just part of it. But be careful with booping. You know, you don't want to ruin it with touching wet paint. Okay. Now, for the fun part. We're gonna take, I don't know, what color should I do? I got a sponge, a big old smudge in the middle of my glasses. That's awesome. I'm going to now mix some colors. What colors do I want? Because I want to add some interest, some thick paint in here with some palette knife action. I'm thinking of kind of doing something like maybe out here. I don't know. This is going to be scary. And I want it cool because I'm going to have it kind of going in the background. So let's have some of this wax. Maybe. Try to make a cool color. Oh, that's kind of interesting. It's a very interesting texture, isn't it? Add some white in there. Oh, Maxine has come to grace us with her presence. Yeah. Look at that big paint. Okay. Now to be bold. First, I'm gonna kind of. I just realized that actually looks kind of cool there. Let's do this. How scary. cool orange to contrast that, so we're gonna mix just a little bit of, yeah. Ooh, that's cool. Why did this go down again? What is going on? Sorry, guys. That's cool. All right, let's blue. I think we're done, guys. I think we're done. Let's see. Sorry about that. Okay, good. I have everything kind of precariously set up right now. Literally happened again. I'm not sure if I like it. Cool. All right, we're done. We have finished not one, but 2 artworks this week, guys. It's big for me, considering I haven't finished one in a long time before that. So again, once this dries and is varnished, I will have this up for sale on my website if you're interested in it. Yeah. Thank you guys so much. I think we're going to go ahead and end the stream on that note. Thank you again, guys, for hanging out. And working with me while I work on this. I do appreciate you all so much. And yeah, feel free to drop me a follow on the old socials. They're listed on my channel there. And I will be back Thursday around 10:30 a.m. Hopefully not an hour late this time. And we'll probably be picking up with our commissions there. So, anywho, thanks again, everybody. Have a great rest of your Tuesday, and see you on Thursday. Mwah. And we're going to go ahead and see if we can raid over to Moko Maid. Why? I wonder why it won't let me raid. That's annoying. I must have something set up where I can't raid. So, apologies, no raid today. We will figure it out though. Anywho, thanks again, guys. Have a good day, and bye-bye.